There's a lot about mindset these days, and mindset is good until it doesn't work. And it doesn't work full force because it is this willpower.
Mm-hmm.
If we need willpower to like believe it and hustle through, or if we don't actually believe the story, it's not going to work. You could tell yourself that you're amazing all you want, but if you don't really believe that story, your actions are not going to align with that.
Hey, queens. Yeah, you know who you are. God, come on. Go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left. Now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work. Because we know you got big goals. And you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose. You speak out on your faith. And you shift up in your journey. Because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast, Drop the Expire and Act with your host, Veli of QueenBayGoals.com, reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. All right, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. Hey, Queen Bays. Welcome to another episode of the Drop the Expire and Act podcast. Today we have with us coach and entrepreneur Tracy Hill. Tracy, welcome to the podcast today.
Hi, thank you for having me today. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you too. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yeah, so by trade and education, I am a doctor of physical therapy, and I have been in the outpatient orthopedic setting for, I was there for 13 years when I quit, and I just knew that there was something bigger than health. And working in the physical therapy clinic, this is the medical field in general, it's very fast paced and it's very just let's get you through, let's treat the symptom and move you on. And it upset me so much because I knew that my patients were struggling with more. Yes, I could help their physical, their back pain, their whatever, but I knew that they were struggling with so much deeper things going on. And through the process, I was treating a lot of athletes, but then it led me to treating a lot of women, specifically postpartum pelvic floor, pelvic pain women. And that opened up a world that I did not expect. It opened up this world of how much women were struggling.
Right.
And from both just postpartum of that transition of being a mom and understanding what the heck happened to my body. And nobody really gives a woman that guidebook of your body is different and it's forever different. We can embrace it and we can learn to adapt to it, but it's different. And also the door of pelvic pain also brought up a lot of trauma and abuse that women had. And it blew my mind of how much women were hurting. And that led me to this heart of I've got to do more. And so realizing then all of these thoughts that are going on, and again, we're just treating symptoms in the world. Sorry, am I going on and on about?
No, you're okay. You're okay.
I'm like, this is just a part of like how I got to where I am. And so realizing this disconnect, that there was so much more, and that led me into really diving into the brain and the brain science behind, just like I wanted to get to the source of why people were hurting, I wanted to also understand the source of these thoughts and these beliefs that keep people stuck in their health. And so that dove me into then this neuro coaching certification that I went through to take now this beautiful blend of the movement science aspect with the brain science to really get to the root causes so that we can start simplifying health and understanding why people continue to stay stuck in their bodies.
I love it. And I love it because you took us straight into the theme for this season, which is royal goals. And you are all about goals that are original and yours. And I love that you just decided, I'm just going to flip the head on what is supposed to be normal
Yes.
medical treatment and just change the whole entire story. So let's take it back before you had that epiphany and just quit your job. Let's take it back, because you said before that you were aspiring for like 5 to 6 years before you made that transition. So can you take us back to before that transition?
Before I actually took the plunge,
Mm-hmm.
it was stirring in me for a long time, just because I understood like the three-dimensional side of people, but I just didn't know what that meant for me. And then I think, like a lot of women, motherhood flipped that switch for me. I think that's a pivotal point in many women's lives of, now I have kids, and I didn't expect, honestly, I did not expect to love motherhood instantaneously the way that I did. I didn't. I was the one who was pregnant and I was like, yeah, this is just what I'm
Right.
supposed to do, is have babies. And I didn't appreciate the magnitude of that. And I was the woman that thought, I'm a doctor. I went to school for 7 years. I'm not going to give up my career for this baby. I know this sounds terrible when I say it out loud,
It's
but I think a lot of women think that too. And then it's this identity crisis of, hang on, I'm really good at what I do and I love what I do, but I really like this motherhood thing. And feeling like a failure at the end of the day with everything. I felt like I was failing my patients because I just didn't feel fully present in the clinic.
Mhm.
I felt like I was coming home and being a failure to my new baby, and I hated that. And it just kept stirring at me of, I've got to do something different, but still utilize my skills
Right.
and serve people in the capacity that I want, but still be the mom that I wanted to be.
So what did you think finally shifted? Because I know you said it was stirring for a little while. So what finally shifted that made you decide, okay, this is it. It's time to do something different.
Well, true disclosure, through this process, then I was watching my husband fall trap to alcohol addiction. And I started noticing something was not right. And I had my second. I have two boys. They're just under 2 years apart. I had my second one, and that's when I was like, something is not healthy in this household. And I was at this crossroads of realizing, I got to take care of myself
Mm-hmm.
to walk through this, to be able to understand and process what's going on, and so that I could be of a service to my husband if I could help him through that, and to my kids who needed me in that time. And it just kept stirring in me that I realized it was not a healthy situation in my home. And I knew that I did not want to be the single mom that was going to be grinding and hustling and working. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I knew single moms as a childhood, and I guess this is just my own like thought process, that I believed that a single mom was working 60 hours a week, working
Right.
nights, working days, being just a hot mess. And I thought, if I'm going to be a single mom, I am not going to be that person. I
That's not the version.
refused.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the mom that I wanted to be. And so I thought, if I'm going to do this, I didn't know at that time. I did not know if my marriage was over. I was definitely going there, but I wasn't sure. But I was like, I have to do something bigger for me as I process and walk through this journey, because I can't sit around waiting for him to get well. And it just kept stirring inside of me, and I took the plunge. And it again, it ended up poorly. And last November, I picked my kids up and we left. And it has been, talk about a whirlwind during COVID, and you
Right.
sell your house and just so much stuff going on. But I knew it was the right thing. And I knew that long term, I was going to serve my family and serve the people who needed me in that capacity. And as I think about now, what my business really stands for is, I want women to feel healthy no matter what. And I think this was part of my process of helping women see, yeah, life takes a lot of curveballs. I mean, everyone knows that exercise and eating healthy is good for you. There's no secret behind that.
Right.
But why don't most people do it? It's because something always comes up. It's this cycle of, okay, this time I'm going to get motivated. This time I really want it. I really want to lose weight. I really want to feel better. And then what happens? Something happens. COVID happens. You're homeschooling your kids. Someone gets sick. Life stresses happen. There's always a roadblock. And it's just solidified even more as I've walked through this process, even more of why it is so important to honor our health during the just rough seasons of life, and that we can still do it even if it doesn't look perfect. That
Mm-hmm.
health doesn't have to look this one perfect way. It's going to look different when you're going through a storm of life versus when you're just on top of the world, and being able to adapt and navigate rather than plummeting and feeling like a total failure, because most people, their health is these peaks and valleys, instead of, okay, I'm just going to keep trusting the process, and I'm going to take a little blip here, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that I'm failing.
Right. I love that. So tell us more about your business now, the business that you have today, because it's not like the traditional medicine. So tell us about the business that you started and where you are today.
Yeah. So what I'm offering is basically a health success coaching program. And what we do is, I have a business partner who's also a doctor of physical therapy, and
Mhm.
we walk women through these stories of that are keeping them stuck. And it's these stories that just chatter in the background of your head that we don't even know play. It's the stories that you heard your aunt tell you, oh, honey, just wait till you have kids. Just wait till you're old. It's impossible to take care of yourself. The time that you saw your mom yo-yo diet and you thinking that's just what it is. The
Mhm.
time that you were picked last on the soccer team as a kid and told you're just not an athlete. These things get imprinted in our brains without our permission, and they continue to keep us stuck. And so through our coaching system, we unravel these stories, because these are that source that keeps, no matter how much you like put that gas pedal on of this is the time I'm going to take care of my health, that chatter back there of those stories are, they're pulling the brakes back, and they're like, no, you're not. You've
Right.
tried this before. It didn't work. It's never going to work. Here we go again. And your brain's job is to protect you. Your brain's job is to keep you safe. And so your brain doesn't want you to feel like a failure. And so it's going to put a stop before you even fail. But then it's this vicious cycle of, see, told you so, you failed again. And so as we walk women through this of really recognizing these thoughts, then we help them see the real truth. Like, is that really true? And really digging deep into why. Why do you want to be healthy? It's not about, everyone talks about, I just want to lose those 20 pounds, 15 pounds. It's not about that. If that's your only driving force, you're going to stop when it gets hard. You're going to stop when it's Friday night and all you want to do is have a cheeseburger
Right.
and a glass of wine. And so that's why the cycle continues. So what we really help women to see is, why does it matter? What is it bringing you? And then through that, helping them see, do your actions align? Do these thoughts and these beliefs align with what you want? Because then we have the opportunity to decide what we want to do. I'm not here to tell you never eat the donuts and the cheeseburger and have a glass of wine. But
Mhm.
what we have the opportunity to do is, now it doesn't feel like this battle of wills of, I just got to willpower through and not eat this thing. Instead, it's this choice, because our brain has this new program, and our brain knows what we want, why we want it, and how it's going to make you feel. Sometimes the cookie is part of your health program because it's enjoying your family. When I talk to women, I'm like, why do you want to be healthy? Well, I want to be able to play with my family and go on picnics and go on vacation and have fun. And if that's what you want, but what you believe is that healthy has to be eating celery sticks, water, and depriving yourself, those two don't align. So now, of course, you're going to give up because you're like, but I want to have fun. So now the cookie becomes part of an alignment with your health because I made cookies with my kids and I'm enjoying it and it's a beautiful thing versus I'm going to sit in the closet and eat cookies alone and feel bad about myself. So that's the difference when we help them. Now it's a decision so that you understand how it actually aligns with what you want. And then we work through, like, we got to erase that old program. There's a lot about mindset these days, and mindset is good until it doesn't work. And it doesn't work full force because it is this willpower. If we need willpower to like believe it and hustle through, or if we don't actually believe the story, it's not going to work. You could tell yourself that you're amazing all you want, but if you don't really believe that story, your actions are not going to align with that. So the cool thing with the brain is that we've seen so much that we can actually reprogram the brain. They used to think like what you've got is what you've got in your brain and we can't change that. But now we're seeing we can actually cut those old stories and we can change them with the new truth, the truth that aligns with what you want, the truth that aligns with who you want to be and how you want to feel. So now your health program becomes, it's just part of who you are versus this other thing that I have to do on my to-do list. Because I know most women right now are saying, I've got 8 million things to do today. I'm doing all the things and you want me to exercise and eat and take care of the kids and work and take care of my house, all these expectations. So at the end of the day, when you're exhausted, if that program is not for your health, of course you're going to just grab the quickest thing. Of course you're going to grab the bottle of wine and just make it all better. But when we actually have that automated program, now you don't need more energy. You don't have any more energy when you're depleted at the end of the day. And so automate our health program, that's the thing that's just kind of running in the background. That programs us for this lasting success. And so now we don't have to use the willpower, the hustle, the motivation. It's just who you are and how you operate.
I love that. Where do I sign up for a program that allows me to enjoy cookies with my kids?
Right.
And still like have time.
Yes, I'm like, eat your cookie because it's honoring. And then know when I always tell my clients the power of the pause. A lot of people they talk about this pause. And when you sit there just exhausted and depleted and you see that bag of cookies or whatever on the kitchen counter, we all have our vice, okay? And you see that thing, you pause for a minute and you say, does this align with who I am? Does this align with how I want to feel? And sure, that quick sugar fix, it might make you happy for a little bit, but then what happens? Then you feel bad about yourself. And then you're like, oh, I blew it again. I did it again. And so when we can pause, because sometimes the answer is yes, it is going to make me happy. And it does align with what I want. And that's okay. But when we have that, now we don't have to willpower and battle ourselves through it. It just becomes this simple solution. And that's what's sustainable. Willpower, a program based on willpower and all the things you're doing wrong, it's not going to last. It's especially not going to last when you're tired and overwhelmed. And so when we can find your success and what health looks like to you right now in this season, then we can adapt. Because, health does not look the same for every single person. And it might not even look the same for you in any season. And so, women will say, oh, I'm doing all the same stuff that I did 10 years ago, but it doesn't work now. That's because your life is different now. and it's to align with what you do and who you want to be. And so, most people will tell you, this is how you have to eat, this is how you have to exercise, and that'll work just fine until your life takes a little blip. How many of us were going to a gym maybe and doing all the great things, and then your gym got shut down?
Right, before
What do,
COVID.
what do you, what do you do? Do you just throw in the flag, throw up that white flag and let it go of, oh, well, there's nothing I can do? Or do you stop? Okay, I'm going to adapt, I'm going to shift, and my exercise is going to look different in this season because I'm not going to the gym, or I'm in a season with small children, or I'm in a season of just that work is really intense. And so I might need to back off of my exercise, but that doesn't make me a failure. It just means that I need to figure out how to navigate and adapt through the cycles of life, because that's when our health falls apart, is during those transitions of life.
That's awesome. So tell us about the program that you have to address that, because you and your partner, you have something coming that people can sign up for. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so right now we're still kind of in the beta. So we've got open enrollment right now through the rest of the year and we're officially launching in January. And it is a 12-week coaching program, and it's called HardWire Your Health. And it's this premise of, we're going to solidify this program. And so, like I said, we're going to walk you through, give you that roadmap of what does health look like for you, what matters to you, what aligns with you, and then start recognizing these thoughts. And then through that, we work through the erase and the rewire so that it's totally reprogrammed and being solidified. So we take you through this 12-week process of really understanding where you're going. So at the end now, you've got this system that sets you up for success with whatever blip comes along. And now your health program just becomes simplified. And so in January, we do a Master Your Motivation. It's just our free challenge. Because that's something that so many people tell us is, it's the motivation, that staying consistent, that staying motivated piece that is a big block for people. And so we are going to kick off with our Master Your Motivation challenge leading into our official launch. But like I said, up until then, we are doing just open enrollment because we're just so excited, especially in this season. I think there's just a lot of heaviness in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are fed up and overwhelmed, and it's just wearing on us. We thought COVID world was going to be over, and it's not. And
Right.
we don't see it, and we don't see an end in sight. And I think that's starting to grate on people, of the heaviness, that I just want people to be well and to work through. We've all got a lot of thoughts and stories stirring up inside of us right now, and a lot of frustrations and expectations. And if we can work through this process to see how it relates to everything that we navigate through in life, of snipping less at your kids and being more focused. When you are well, you are more focused and you have more clarity. So now you can perform better in your work. And now those little things that are chattering in the world around us, they don't wear us down quite as much. And I think that's so important right now.
Well, tell our audience, where can they find you so they can sign up for the program? Where can they find you online if they want to follow you for more tips? Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so I am on Instagram at it's movement.warrior. And then Facebook, we hang out the most in our Facebook community. Our Facebook group is called Hardwired for Health. And in there, we do just daily 10-minute exercise wins just to get your body feeling successful. And as physical therapists, we're always giving modifications because we totally understand that everybody is different. And so that is one of our special gifts, is we know how to modify for any age level, disabilities, all the things, which is so fun. And we are always giving strategies of how can we simplify this health and take the overwhelm and essentially take the hard out of health. That is our greatest mission.
All right, awesome. So you guys, all the links will be in the show notes. You don't have to go. We're trying to remember all of this. We're going to put it all in the show notes for you. So tell us, what would you say as your last bit of advice for the woman who's still back in that place where she's like in a traditional job, but she just has a stirring, like the way you had your stirring? What would you say to the woman who's starting to feel that, but then still feels like she has to stay in her traditional job?
I would say the gut is real. Follow that gut. I heard something this week that said your gut was given to you by God. And that made me laugh because I'm like, yeah, that gut feeling, women are really good about that. Just there is something inside. And I just have to say, do it scared. If it's truly something that you feel like you are called and you need to get this out to the world, I think do it scared and the pieces are going to come together. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it's something that you're passionate about and having fun, just take that leap of faith. And ultimately, it's about believing in yourself and believing in what you have to offer and all the people that are going to miss out on that if you don't.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So that's a perfect thing for us to leave the podcast on today. So we always end our podcast with a quote, and the guests are given a quote, and yours was, "You have to know what sparks the light inside of you, so that in the light inside of you, so that in your own way you can illuminate the world," from Oprah. So tell us why that's a quote that you live by.
I just think, like I said, that something that's burning inside of you, that fire that's inside of you, if we know what that is, it's meant to get out to the world. And that spark is meant to it's meant to change someone else's life. And if we can all live that way, I think we can just create this massive spark in the world.
All right, you guys, that's the perfect ending. So make sure that you're lighting those sparks and putting your sparks out there into the world. Come back and listen to another episode of the podcast. Tracy, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So you guys make sure you come back and listen to another episode. And remember, all the links are down in the show notes for you to join in her program or follow her on social media.
You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information on this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.